Hey everyone, welcome back to another wellness video with me, Melisa Arroyo, and have a special guest yet again.
Wolfgang von Latman Lozana, also known as Coach Wolfgang VL on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, so his stuff will be in the description below in case you want to check out his content, which I highly encourage. And well, make sure to like, subscribe, ring that little notification bell if you'd like to receive the newest videos. And yeah, check out Wolfgang's YouTube as well. Make sure you subscribe to him. He has a lot of great content.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So this is Sports and Exercise Awareness Month. And what other month is it again?
Mental Awareness Month.
Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yeah, Mental Health Awareness
Mental
Month.
Awareness Month? Okay, Mental Health
Mental
Awareness
health,
Month.
yeah.
And so we want to talk a bit about the mind-body connection. And so in this video, what we want to talk about is exercise and some of its deeper and lesser known benefits on mental health and physiology. So it's obviously everybody knows that exercise can help to induce weight loss or fat loss. Obviously, I've been a personal trainer since 2014, so I know that firsthand. But what is lesser known is one of the more major benefits of exercise, and one that will keep you going regardless of fat loss or weight loss or health, is that it can significantly boost your mood. So different forms of exercise have been clinically shown to provide kind of like a therapeutic effect for issues such as depression and anxiety. And so there are many mechanisms in which exercise can do such a thing, but just as a general overview, especially for those of you without like a deeper background. So you have things like cardiovascular exercise, which is extremely beneficial for lowering anxiety, helping people deal with anxiety, and also boosting endorphins and helping to regulate dopamine and things like that, helping you feel more motivated, giving you more energy as well. So, and weight training can do that as well. In particular, weight training in the 8 to 12 or more rep range. So more reps, but especially if it's heavy enough. So some of the reasons why exercise can do these things. Let's see. Well, first of all, what exactly is exercise? Well, evolutionarily speaking, exercise when we were cavemen, right? When we were cave people, or when we're out in the jungle.
Neanderthals.
When we're in the Neanderthals, we're out in the Amazon jungle, where Melissa is from.
Obviously.
Basically, back then, exercise was either chasing down food, like, you know, hunter-gatherers, like they'll see like a berry bush and they'll sprint over to the berry bush just out of excitement so they can eat those berries and get the caloric energy, which, by the way, wild berries a lot of times can be poisonous if eaten too much of. But also to chase down a animal and, you know, slaughter it for caloric energy for survival needs. But also things like a saber-toothed tiger, right? Like, or like a cheetah or something, like some kind of carnivorous animal that's like obviously going to kill us. If we don't have a spear and our tribesmen with us, like, we're going to die. So we get a cortisol response. We get the fight or flight response, adrenaline, cortisol floods our circulation, and we get that boost in our heart rate, basically a mini, what we call a panic attack now. Definitely, that was a panic attack back then. And so fight or flight means either we fight the animal, we take flight, we try to run away or run up a tree or something. And there's also the freeze effect. And the freeze effect is actually what a lot of people experience when they have anxiety and things like that. And so the flooding of adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones, it needs an outlet. So basically, if you are on your way to work, for example, let's say you have to be to work at 6 p.m., you're running late to work, it's 6:15. And you know your boss is one of those strict people or something, and they're the type of person that won't let you off the hook that easily, and you're scared you're going to lose your job. That's a lot of stress to deal with, and you will get the same kind of boosts in adrenaline and cortisol that you would normally get if like a predator was running after you in the wild. The main difference though is if a predator is running after you in the wild, you get you get to release the adrenaline and cortisol right away because you're running away from them. But in regards to something that we deal with now in our modern times, like our running late for work, dealing with problems at work, like our boss or negative coworkers or something, that is a chronic cortisol problem where we're constantly feeling stressed. And so exercise is the missing piece of this equation. The reason why exercise oftentimes is said to be like such a great stress reliever is because you get to actually give those emotions, those stressful emotions, an outlet to express themselves. And so you get to do what your biology is meant to do, which is fight or flight in the gym. It's basically what you're doing.
Especially like you, because you spar, right?
Yeah, that's right. I do jiu-jitsu. I'm getting choked out. I'm choking people out. We're wrestling around, trying to break each other's arms. Or we do like Muay Thai. And obviously that's like the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's like the ultimate.
So you don't really have to go on that level. You could actually just walk at the park if you are not that type of person.
Yes.
Or just doing something that is going to raise your heart rate, and that's kind of one of the key points.
Exactly.
I see you over there. Yes, it's
Yes.
So you have to get your heart rate at a certain level. You can't even, I've seen some people who are exercising. Granted, if you're older, it's a little different, senior citizens out there. But for those of us who are younger, we've seen people do that lazy workout where, like you were talking about, how you were talking a certain amount of weights and also a certain amount of repetitions are kind of the key factor to that. So if your body could handle a certain amount of weight for a certain amount of repetitions, you kind of have to go on that level, because if you start going on that lower level, you're not really creating that heart raising rate. So, yeah, right. So you need to get your heart rate. What is that number? Do you know what the range is generally?
Yeah, so I mean, general rule of thumb is you take 222, something like that, and then you subtract your age by like 222, and that is supposed to be your maximum like heart rate. And you want to be training within anywhere from 70 to 90% of your maximum heart rate is probably the good range for therapeutic benefits.
Yeah. So for me, I cheat because my Fitbit knows my weight and everything. So Perfect. This is, if you have one of these, make sure that you're putting in your height, your weight, and all your, your information on there, because it tells me like when I'm on my fat burning zone and everything. So
right. Well, and also you got to keep in mind that Fitbit is excellent for things like have a lot of movement, like cardiovascular activity, but sometimes it can be inaccurate for measuring things like weight training. But just like Melissa's saying, is like it's important to work within a certain heart rate zone. That's exactly what she's saying, and that's absolutely true. And so basically, if you go into the gym and you're young and healthy, like even if you're young and healthy, if you aren't used to working out, you're not going to be able to just go in there and do sprint intervals like I like to do with some of my clients. Trust me, even if you feel like you're down for that, you will not. You'll probably throw up. But like she's saying though, basically, so if you're going in there and just moving like 10-pound dumbbells around and not really doing much,
and taking pictures in between each repetition, we know those people out there.
Right.
Maybe you're one of them.
Yeah, like especially like if you suffer from a severe depression or anxiety or something like that, and you're looking for the therapeutic benefits. I know a lot of people who say they tried exercise and it didn't work for them. And a main reason why it probably didn't is because they weren't working within the right heart rate to induce a stimulus that produces endorphins. So in order to have that endorphin boosting effect and also stimulate brain-derived neurotropic factor, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you need to be pushing your heart rate. And so depending on your fitness level and how adept you are at the gym, the amount of heart rate that you can tolerate, first of all, is gonna vary. But you want to push yourself as much as you can without going to total exhaustion. And over time, you can push yourself even more. And as long as you have your heart rate within that effective zone, you should be able to see a good effectiveness. But if you're taking selfies, like Melissa said, you know, and you're not really pushing yourself, that if you don't have a sweat going, you don't feel your heart pounding and stuff like that, then it's probably not vigorous enough.
Mhm. And
So,
granted that there's some people like my mom who do not sweat easily. So
mhm.
that's where it's also
Oh,
important
that's
to
hard.
like
Yeah.
just having a, I mean, that's why like I told her, come on,
Yes.
let's get you a monitor just because, you know, you won't really know when you're really pushing
Right.
it.
Right. Absolutely. That can make it a lot easier for people who aren't used to the gym and don't know how hard they're going.
Hmm.
So just some general guidelines for exercising for mental health, because this is one of my favorite topics, because I'm a competitive athlete, and because of that, most of my training is structured and it is intentional to produce a certain effect. And so I have everything I'm going to do for the next couple of months written down. And after, you know, I definitely feel kind of like a lot of times, because the gym used to be my therapy basically. So, so I recognize the importance of having a routine specifically for mental health. And so every now and then I'll have
Hmm.
specific exercise routines or specific days where I just go in just to feel good, right? So some of the guidelines to go by for exercising for mental health would be um, so you want to do a full body strength training routine. A lot of this is going to depend on your schedule. So if ideally what you want to do is either an upper body, lower body split, where you do like Monday upper body, Tuesday lower body, Wednesday just some light cardio, and then Thursday and Friday upper body, lower body again. Or you could do push pull leg split, but that's like a 6 day a week routine. Or you can do full body Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. My recommendation is to do upper body, lower body twice a week. So it's a 4 day routine, upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, however you want to split it up. And you want to be, especially when you're just starting and you're going for mental health, you want to do 3 to 5 sets of approximately 8 to 12 repetitions. Okay. And you want to be, and you can push the last set to failure if you'd like. But especially if you're relatively new, you want to leave like 2 reps in reserve. So you want to
And
go as,
disclaimer real quick, if
yeah.
you are really new to working out, please look for a coach like Wolfgang. Can't guarantee he has any openings left, but I know that you're really sought out. So,
Yeah.
but you know, some form is important, and making sure that you're not going to kill yourself by getting
Yes.
too much weight. Sometimes we get enthusiastic out there, right? And we're like, we're
Yes.
gonna kick, you know.
Yes.
But yeah. So
Absolutely.
go ahead.
No, absolutely. She's absolutely right. So form is very important, but just because if you don't have a coach or whatever, don't let that stop you. But if you
Hmm.
can, definitely get a personal trainer or a coach who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that can be hard to find, but you want someone who's skilled with dumbbells and barbells and like free motion type exercises. And if you can't find one, there are a lot of people on the internet that can help. I know Melissa likes Jeff Cavalier, and he's good for a lot of the basic form on certain exercises. Just be aware of his squat advice, like bracing the core and stuff. Maybe I'll find a list and I'll give it to Melissa to put in the description.
Yeah,
But
that'd be great.
yeah, absolutely. But you just need basic exercises. So like
Hmm.
bent over dumbbell row, you need some form of deadlift. Okay. That could be a dumbbell deadlift. That could be a concept two rower machine. That could be a rack pull, a barbell deadlift, just some kind of deadlift. Squat, you know, some kind of squat, preferably barbell squat. Machine squats can be good too. Lunges are good, you know, but you want to overhead press some for the shoulders, a chest press, a back movement like a row, and a squat and a hinge deadlift.
What about for the people that are not really great with
Gym
weight so far?
with weights and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about like for people that just are starting off with body weight? What do you recommend for them to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah. So first and foremost, especially like if you don't have gym equipment or whatever, and we're talking about mental health, definitely start walking, start running. Okay. Try to get yourself to where you can run. Just because that is going to be the biggest bang for your buck, whether you can go to the gym or not. And you want to be you want to be preferably just jogging or running as intensely as you can for anywhere from 15 to 40 minutes. That's around the zone that it takes. After about the 25, 30-minute mark is when your brain starts to produce endorphins and stuff like that, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So that is probably the first thing to start with if you only have like a body weight routine you can do. And even if you're super overweight, or basically taking a vigorous walk outside is going to feel similarly to a run. And just make sure you're doing it about 25 minutes on average. 40 minutes is probably ideal. Now, as far as body weight movements are concerned, obviously you have so many different options. I would recommend getting some form of weights or something though, because eventually these body weight exercises are going to be easy. But especially for mental health, you could do body weight squats for high rep. You could do jump squats if you can get used to it. I like to do like really deep body weight squats though. That way, when you're ready to go to the gym with a barbell, you already have good form. Obviously, push-ups and different push-up progressions. If you can't do a regular push-up or chest to the floor, then start elevated. You could start on the wall, just leaning up against the wall. And that's a very easy variation. There's a lot of different ab exercises. In my opinion, I like planks and then weighted planks after you get good at those. But if you just want a lot of variation and stuff, and you don't have gym equipment, things like V-ups. But I love burpees. I'm a huge fan of burpees. If you can bust out 5 sets of 20 burpees and then try to do them for time, as many burpees as you can in like 2 minutes, that's one hell of a workout.
Yeah, that always kills me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can do high intensity interval training with body weight. And we're talking about mental health. So weights are not really important in regards to that. They just help get the stimulus there. They help get it faster. But for mental health, high intensity interval training using body weight exercises, oh my God, you do a 7-minute Tabata, like Melissa said, just like 2 minutes of burpees, will destroy her basically. And anything that's going to give you that kind of intensity in a shorter amount of time is really, really good.
Yeah, and I just want to add too, for people that have severe depression and can't really get out of bed, sometimes the workout may just be going outside and walking a little bit outside, and that's it. And that's a start. So, or even just getting up, doing a couple of jumping jacks right next to your bed, just so you guys know. And always, as I always say, go seek help if you are, really struggling. I'll have the number below. I always have it in my disclaimer section in my videos. There's a number if you need some support and some links that you could check out if you are really on the deeper and more severe side of mental health issues. This is more for people that are more mild symptoms of mental health issues, or just people that are more regular in dealing with high stress or stuff like that. But if you are really struggling, this is not going to be a guarantee that it's going to help. This is just supplemental with other things.
Yeah, well, so it's obviously not going to be like on its own something that can cure depression or something, but I personally definitely believe, especially mechanistically speaking, that if you do a good exercise program as well as a good nutrition program on the side of whatever other therapies you need, because if you're on the severe end, you need all the help you can get.
Definitely.
So you need
I agree.
Talk therapy, medications and things. But exercise and nutrition is only going to help especially in regards to making all of these other things more effective. And even people who don't have a diagnosed mental illness a lot of times have trouble staying motivated to exercise. And so one of the greatest things about exercise is that it actually can over time increase your will to exercise. So not just through the habit mechanism, but also what it does on the physiological level. So first and foremost, a lot of people, actually exercise, one of its main mechanisms is it makes your body, gives your body more tolerance to adrenaline. Okay. You can actually adapt. It creates adaptations and that increase your adrenal tolerance essentially. especially with heavier weightlifting and with things like sprinting in particular. And so this is very powerful because what this means is when you first start exercising and you try going for a sprint, you're gonna feel like garbage. And that's because of the adrenal hormones that are released in response to exercise. And obviously after a hard sprint workout, you're gonna have an increase in endorphins, but you're gonna feel trashed. The thing is, the more that you keep doing this, the less and less your body is going to be feeling that adrenal response because it'll be able to produce more adrenaline, but it'll be able to clear it out from your system faster as well. And so this is one of the main mechanisms that exercise helps you deal with stress in real life, is that it actually makes you more tolerant to it. And also another thing that people don't know is that adrenaline is not just this evil thing that like makes you feel panicky. Adrenaline and cortisol and these stress hormones, one of their big functions is helping you deal with stress. So if you have low cortisol, which by the way, people who talk about adrenal fatigue, a lot of that is actually something called progesterone still or progesterone still. I don't want to go too deep into that, but basically they can't produce enough cortisol. So they have low cortisol, which that actually translates into low motivation, not being able to get up in the morning and stuff. Those are signs of low cortisol. And so you got to regulate that cortisol response through things like certain exercise, building your adrenal tolerance through exercise, and obviously some of the nutrition stuff we've covered in other videos. But some other things that exercise does mechanistically is it increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So if you haven't seen our nutrition video, if we posted it by now, go ahead and watch it because I talk about that a little bit and foods that can boost it. But brain-derived neurotrophic factor is a neuropeptide that essentially is responsible for organizing your thoughts. So think of your brain or think of your mind as a filing cabinet, a very messy filing cabinet. And we have all of these different files in our filing cabinet. We have what did my boss say to me yesterday? What's going to happen when I get home? What's the meaning of life? What's up with Joe Rogan now? Yada yada. So we have all of these different worries and these different things in our head. And brain-derived neurotrophic factor goes into the mind and it organizes all these files, and it helps us to deal with these thoughts and these anxieties and things. And so what it will kind of look like is you're going for a run, you're going to hit a point after about the 25-minute mark or so where you notice your brain is just like working problems out. I don't know if you ever had this, Melissa, but this happens to me all the time where I have this really hard problem. Things that have been stressing me out. I go for a run and ideas for videos come, like kind of like when you're in the shower almost, and like ideas come to you. Yeah, but
yeah,
this
definitely.
like, yeah, so that's one of the main mechanistic benefits to exercise, and that can be extremely beneficial to someone who has anxiety disorder and things. Especially like if you go to therapy, because they give you strategies to deal with it, and they help talk your problems out and things, and give you new ideas and things. A lot of those ideas from therapy don't just come to you right away. Like some of the premonitions people have, sometimes they come from sleeping, because sleeping also increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor. But through exercise too, it can give your brain an avenue to process these deep emotions and things. And then of course you have the increase in endorphins and the modulation of dopamine and things that it comes from exercise, and the modification of breathing. Obviously, when you're breathing like super heavily like that in a rhythmic fashion, it has a very cathartic kind of effect on the nervous system to get you kind of like more in the groove, more in a positive and upbeat state of mind, similar to upbeat music. So
yeah.
And also put some earphones on and listen to your favorite music when you're exercising. And if you're not too sensitive to it, drink some caffeine beforehand. And that's my favorite way to unwind. You will experience.
Yeah, safe. I have very similar experience. That's what I do when right before I work out, have a little bit of caffeine, pump up some of my favorite tunes. Usually I listen to metal because that's what I really enjoy. Yeah. Need something that is very high energy. I try to work out with what people listen to nowadays. That is, I always wear headphones at the gym. But yeah, definitely I could, yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that should have been one of the first things I mentioned is the combination of the caffeine and the earphones and stuff, because a lot of people, they go to the gym and it just feels boring. And it's not like a pleasurable experience. It's not like a fun activity that they do. But when you add the music to it, and you just like start running on a treadmill with something really upbeat, it's kind of hard not to start running. Like if you're listening to some
Hmm.
metal and like the chorus comes on, it usually gets you pumped up and stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of the mind and body connection, that's kind of one of the things. I know that there's been studies too on
Mm,
what is it, the mood enhancement through music
yeah,
and exercise. And
yeah,
usually studies indicate that, yeah, like listening to your favorite music is something that's gonna have higher not production. I can't think of the right word, but it's just gonna be a better
release.
workout for you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All of these activities, they boost dopamine in positive ways. The caffeine, whatever, it's debatable, but yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty well documented. You're gonna feel amazing if you drink some caffeine, listen to some music, and get some exercise in. So that's what I recommend. And the rep ranges and stuff that I mentioned too, 3 to 5 sets of, 8 to 12 reps, give or take, and doing
Mhm.
supersets, doing circuit training and stuff like that. One exercise after another, shorter rest periods. It's a really good way to get a cardiovascular type of workout in with weight training, so that you don't have to stand on the treadmill. Because a lot of people, they get bored of like treadmill type
I
exercises.
hate the treadmill. I hate it. I do all my running and walking outdoors with my dogs because I hate the treadmill. I can't stand it.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have to do another video on nature, but like going outside in nature also has a very cathartic and therapeutic benefit on the body and nervous system. And getting
Yeah, it definitely does.
the fresh air and oxygen helps too.
Yeah, and the sun too, get some vitamin D. That actually is something that helps
Yeah,
with depression, actually.
yeah,
Going outdoors, that's one of the things that people talk about when people with depression is like, hey, go outside, get some sunlight on you, walk around a little bit. That's one of the top recommendations people get.
yeah. I actually have a video, the top 5 causes of depression or vitamin deficiencies that can cause depression. Vitamin
Mhm.
D is like the first one on that list.
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me that so I could put it in the
Yeah,
description
yeah,
below. That way people could go ahead and
yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, because those are very, very common causes. And in fact, um, so studies indicate at a minimum 60%, this is back in 2010, 60% of all Americans were vitamin D deficient, according to this study alone back in 2010. And imagine all the Americans that we don't have data on of their vitamin D status. There were studies done
Mhm.
on lifeguards in California, actually, who get sun on a regular basis, who were somehow vitamin D deficient.
Oh shoot, that's crazy. Like I didn't even know about that. That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't to an extent, but it's probably because they were wearing sunscreen or something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense now.
Which would also explain why a lot of people who do get sunlight on a regular basis might still experience it. But yeah, if
Hmm.
you should get a blood test though, ideally for your vitamin D
That sounds cool.
status.
Hmm.
And if you're low on vitamin D on a blood test, you definitely are going to need like a high dose of vitamin D supplementation for about 2 to 6 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's a very important top thing to get into. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Future video. Another future video also. Maybe we could go ahead and talk about terms that people may not know about, like gym terms or fitness terms that, I know that there's some people that won't know. I grew up with the coach. My dad's a coach. So, I hear all these things all the time since I was a kid. I'm sure that there's people out there who have no idea what we're talking about circuit training or,
Mhm,
even talking about high reps or anything,
mhm.
that'd be another cool video to talk about,
We need
the
to, yeah.
basics. Yeah. Yeah. So
No,
keep an eye out for that, guys. That's going to be one of our future videos
maybe
if you
maybe
have no idea.
we can even go to a gym and do it. Or I have my own home gym, but yeah, maybe you'll see us up in the gym, because this video is all about like the effects on psychology from exercise, but we haven't
Hmm.
actually. If we demonstrate that, yeah,
Yeah, that'd
show,
be awesome. So
yeah.
keep an eye out for that, guys. That'll be a definite must for the future.
It's going to be an awesome video.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions or anything you want to expand on?
Not at this time. What about you?
Well, considering it's about 11 p.m. at night, yeah, I was saying not at this time, no. But
Okay.
whatever we need to fill in, we'll fill in on our next video.
Yeah, so keep an eye out, guys. Thank you so much for watching another one of our videos. And make sure to visit the links in the description and like, subscribe, share this video. I'm sure a ton of people could benefit from watching both of our videos. And also, I appreciate everyone's support. Last
Yes.
words?
Appreciate all you guys. Coach Wolfgang VL on Instagram and YouTube. Shout out to Melissa the goat, and talk to you guys next time.
All right. Bye, guys.